fellow brewers, and welcome to another episode of Homebrew Wild and Cheap. So about 2 months ago, I made an experimental ginger beer classed ginger cybeer, mainly because I added in, funny enough, apples, good of ginger, lots of brown sugar, and it's about 9%. And it's been, funny enough, I bottled it in plastic bottles because it's under pressure, and I've been, funny enough, playing around with this, so I can make hopefully a very nice root beer and do the free sassafras root that I was sent justice, because I don't want to make a bad brew. So this is going to be the tasting of the ginger cybeer. Yum. So I've chilled it, funny enough. It's been in the fridge, it's been sitting for a couple of weeks, and as you can tell by the colour, it's not perfectly clear, but that's fine. So we'll get to see if the oats have done their job and how the flavours are, and if the licorice is. Basically, we'll get to see how good this is. So I've got myself a nice clean glass and a nice cool bottle. So I did prime this bottle with 3/4 of a teaspoon of sugar. You can get calculators for them online, you know, to how much you add in. I add a little bit less in because they usually go quite violently everywhere. So, first impression. Not bad, some bubbles, bubble, but nothing too excessive, he says. Just close it up a little bit. Doesn't smell bad. And it's got plenty of carbonation in it. So I think that's a success. Let's see. Just open it up a bit more. Ooh. Ooh, cheeky. Right, so let's see how this pours down my leg. A little bit left in. Looks pretty good. As far as the beer goes, it's got a good head retention, relatively. So the oats have obviously helped a little bit, so let's give this a taste. So it doesn't look, funny enough, clear, but that's okay. We didn't use a lot of, well, any pectolase, so that's good. So very fizzy, very nice. Hints of apple, funny that. And it's also got kind of a hint of molasses because we used a lot of dark brown sugar. So, looks good. Now, how does it taste? Well, unlike my usual ginger things that I make, it doesn't have that nasty taste. So I think, funny enough, the licorice has added just a little bit of sweetness to it. Just enough to take away the bitter edge of the ginger. Because, funny enough, all my ginger brews end up tasting kind of bitter. But this is quite nice. It is slightly coating in the mouth, which is, funny enough, I kind of wanted it a smooth texture. That's why I'm doing this a lot. Since, funny enough, this is the prequel, so... It's definitely got plenty of fizz and plenty of body. And even my trousers have got a bit of alcohol on them. So they're getting drunk, so they're happy. I quite like this. It is actually quite nice after the first couple of mouthfuls. It's refreshing. Even though this is 9%, which is pretty high, but I was trying to go for flavours instead of, funny enough, flavours and taste rather than percentage of alcohol. It just happened to be that to try and get a half decent colour, I had to use quite a lot of brown sugar. And honestly, you wouldn't really tell there's nearly half a kilo of brown sugar in here. It does taste a lot like, the closest thing I can liken it to is an IPA or a Doombar type drink. It does have ginger in it, but it's not in your face. Now that's partially because I was making candied ginger at the same time, which was very tasty, I'd like to point out. And it's got the heat afterwards, but not overpowering, it's in the background, so that's quite nice. I'm impressed that it's in the background and not in your face. And I'm also impressed that it doesn't have that overpowering, awful, dry ginger taste. I quite like this. It's good. The oats have given it, not oily, because oily isn't the right word, but it coats your mouth very slightly. So I think I will be doing another one of these, because, well, this could be a really good drink. I think this has potential. It is, I wouldn't call it a beer, but it has beer properties. Almost like a bitter, but not that bitter. It's very, very pleasant. I think it needs more oats, and funny enough, I think I'm going to change a few things about it, as you would, because that's the whole point of experimental brews. You get to try them, and then add your own twist to it. It is, as far as pint goes, it's not that bad. I mean, the colour needs a little bit of working on. I think it could be a bit darker. But I quite like the fact it's cloudy. It's personal preference. You can add in pectolase if you want, but I quite like it. I actually think that this is starch haze. So amylase you'd need to add if you wanted to do this, but pectolase can't harm. It's staying bubbly. As you can see, it's still bubbly. And that's quite nice. Let's get a... Ooh. Ooh. Even my burps taste nice. That is pretty damn awesome. This I would call it a success, because I would say that people could make this and they'd be quite happy to have it. I wouldn't call it a ginger beer because it's not fiery. It is, the ginger's in the background, which I like. I'm gonna say I like it. The fact that it's in the background and you get a warming aftertaste. It tastes kind of malty, but it's not malt because I know it's, funny enough, the brown sugar. I do like the fizz. 3/4 of a teaspoon in the bottle is just the right amount of fizz. It's not overpowering. It's not... Oh, by the way, this bottle is a 500ml bottle, and there is a little bit of sediment in the bottom because I did prime it after I let it settle. I needed to let the, funny enough, the oats drop down to the bottom because I didn't really fancy lots of oats in there. But yeah, that's quite nice. That is, even like this is sort of like, what is it, tier 1, the first attempt. I'd be quite happy to take this to a party. And give this out to people to drink. Personally, I'm going to tinker with this a bit more. I'm going to make it a lot better, which you're going to see in an upcoming video. But I think now I have the basis, you know, the groundworks to do some pretty mean other type of things like this, because this is it's very pleasant. Yeah, is this thing on? Yeah, it is on. Oh, so it's been about 10 minutes since I finished basically tasting this ginger cybeer, and wow, I mean, I don't really drink a lot. I make a lot of alcohol, but I usually give most of it away and keep a bottle or two to myself. But when I do drink it, it's not, you know, when I do drink it, I get drunk, obviously, because I'm a human being and that's what we do. Yeast farts, so. But wow. Normally it takes a couple of glasses, a couple of pints, but you know what I mean, a couple of good glasses of wine. I mean, this isn't particularly strong, it's only 9%, but this thing packs a punch. You heard it's more than the sum of its parts. It's it is quite nice, and wow, it packs a punch. I mean, it's been 10 minutes. I haven't finished this pint yet. Well, it was just under a pint, 500 ml. At this point, it feels like I've drank at least 2 bottles of wine. Not saying you should, but I'm just saying this is what it feels like. It's it packs a punch. It tastes, I think it tastes quite nice. A bit more work, it would be even better, but wow. So if you do decide to recreate this experiment and make yourself the ginger cybeer based on this one, and it comes out about 9%, watch yourself, because this thing will pull the rug out underneath you and then beat you with it, because it's yeah, I wouldn't mind, but I had a full roast a couple of hours ago, so can't be that. So wow, I'm very impressed by this. So a little bit of sediment in the bottom, and I'm not going to drink that, mainly because yeast is very good for you. That's what they make Marmite out of, but gives you really rancid farts. Just saying. So enjoy the video, keep on home brewing, and I'll see you for the next one. Nice.